Peggle.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ferret 64 with me, your host, Yemmy the Ferret. Ferret 64 is, of course, the one-stop shop for video game news, occurrences, first impressions, and so much more. But today's episode is going to be about one thing, and that one thing is the Nintendo Switch 2. That is right. I'm making the entire episode just about the Nintendo Switch 2. And in order to do this properly, I needed to pull in one of, if not the biggest Nintendo fan that I know personally, other than myself, and that is Callus, a.k.a. Just Callus, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Blue Dream. Welcome in, Callus.
Hello, Yemmy. How are you doing? Thank you for having me. Thank you for pulling me in. As you know, you can always yank me as hard as you want.
That's right. That's right. I am doing well. I hope you are doing well as well.
I am doing well. Thank you. Yes.
So, Callus, we've had you on the podcast a couple times. Most recently, you did a review for Tears of the Kingdom for us. And I was just wondering, is there any...
Was it? I thought it was Echoes of Wisdom, the last one.
You know what? I don't know. It was. Maybe it was. I don't know. Is there any... But I should ask, are there any updates for either Zelda properties?
Well... no, because I decided, I haven't picked up Tears of the Kingdom in forever, which I might as well just wait for the Switch 2 version. And Echoes of Wisdom, Echoes of Wisdom, the second half, I was less excited for. It was just like it became too samey, but it was still a pretty fun game. I think I gave like a 3.5 or 4 out of 5. I think it was 4 out of 5.
Well, there you go, folks. You can talk to him in the comments if you need to. Speaking of Zelda, Callus.
Yes.
There's something that I wanted to do before we get into the Switch 2 talk. Because
am I in trouble?
Today there was a quiz posted on NintendoLife.com saying if you can finish this Zelda quiz, you're a mastermind.
Really?
So there's 12 questions here. It's multiple choice, so it's not as difficult as you might expect.
Oh, okay.
So I figured maybe it'd be kind of fun to test your knowledge here real quick, give the people something a little bit different than normal recaps of the Switch 2 here. Because I think at this point, most people know the deal about the Switch 2, but we'll go over it all anyway.
Yeah, sure. That sounds fun.
All right, Callus. Question number 1. The Triforce, a powerful artifact that's central to the plots of many games in the series, comprises of 3 golden triangles representing power, wisdom, and what else?
Courage, of course, held by Link himself.
I didn't even need to read the multiple choice for that one. Good work.
No.
99% of people got that one right.
Okay, yeah, that seems like that was an easy one. Yeah.
Callus. Throughout the game, The Minish Cap, Link is accompanied and advised by which wise but sarcastic sage who's been transformed into a hat?
Freaking A. I only played that game once back in the Game Boy Advance days.
Well, what if I read out the answers?
Multiple choice, please. Yes.
We have Tetra, Midna,
No.
Tattle, and Elslo.
No.
Eslo?
I guess it's Eslo then, because all the
guessed-
other names pertain to a different Zelda.
All right, here we go. That is
I would
correct.
have never gotten that.
Well, that's correct. 76% of people and you got it right.
Nice.
In the game A Link to the Past, Link must travel to the Dark World, where he'll be turned into a rabbit unless he's carrying what object?
Ooh, it's like a necklace of some sort, I think.
Do you want me to read the multiple choice?
Yeah.
Moon Pearl, Dark Mirror, Dark Pearl, or Moon Shard?
Oh, there's 2 different pearls. Moon Pearl or Dark Pearl? Yikes. I'm gonna say the Moon Pearl.
Going with your gut. That's correct. You and
Nice,
53% of people got that one right. All right, next
so far,
up.
so good.
In Oracle of Ages, Link restores harmony to Symmetry Village by repairing a sacred treasure by what palindromatic two-word name? Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. Oh, can you repeat the question?
Yes. In Oracle of Ages, Link restores harmony to Symmetry Village by repairing a sacred treasure by what I'm just going to cross that route out.
Palindrome.
Yes, by what two-word name?
All right, you can
Palindrome,
name
I
multiple
believe, is
choice.
something that can be read backwards, if I'm mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
We have Tier Rate, Toonie Nut, Stone Renats, and Ages Sega.
Okay, what was the first three choices again?
Tier Rayet, Toonie Nut, and Stone Renats.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a very forgettable name. I mean, a very forgettable game overall. I did beat it, but like, I don't remember anything from it. So let's just go with C. Wild guess here.
Ooh, that's incorrect. It was Toonie
Ah.
Nut.
Oh, I was gonna say that also.
I would have gone. I would have gone with the nut too. I don't know. Question 5. Tetra, the seafaring alter ego of Princess Zelda in the game The Wind Waker, can communicate with a Link through the magic of a blue stone with what two-word name? Is it A, the Pirate's Charm, Deep Jewel, Blue Trinket, or Sea Pearl?
Oof. I've been meaning to replay that one. I
Well,
haven't played it since the GameCube days.
yeah, we'll talk about it eventually.
Yes. I do have it on the Wii U though. Can I go with the C? What was the last one?
Sea Pearl.
Sea Pearl. I'll try that one. It's probably wrong.
Nope. It was the Pirate's Charm.
Really? Such a basic name.
All right, here's one that you should know for sure. What's the name of the dungeon, the second of 8, that Link must explore in Link's Awakening that lies in the depths of Gopanga Swamp and is inhabited by a clown-like genie?
Is that the Tail Dungeon or is that the first one?
No,
it's Bottle Grotto.
That's on here. Do you want me to read the other names for you?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, we got Bogmouth, Sunken Swamp, Bottle Grotto, and Claw Cave.
I'm gonna go with Bottle Grotto because I remember that genie was in a bottle.
That was correct.
When you fight him. Cool.
You're back on track. All right, 7 out of 12. In the Adventure of Link, what's the name of the hidden town which Link can find by clearing a patch of forest, its residents having fled another town of the same name that was attacked by monsters?
Wow, no idea for that one.
We have Castletown, Koholint, Kokori, and Kasudo.
Let's go with Kasudo.
That's right.
Nice.
You got it. What's the subtitle of the Legend of Zelda game in which Link gains an ability known as Ultra Hand, which allows him to move objects telekinetically?
That's too easy. That's Tears of the Kingdom.
That's right. Surprisingly, only 86% of people got this one right.
Wow.
Which character in the game Twilight Princess describes herself as the princess of the Insect Kingdom and asks Link to bring her golden bugs in exchange for rewards?
That is a very cute character, which I don't remember the name, so I'm going to need multiple choice.
We have Beth, Midna, Agatha, and Talo.
The answer is Agatha.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. At the start of the game, Triforce Heroes, Link reads a notice appealing for heroes to help defeat an evil witch. Specifically, that such heroes should possess side-parted hair, truly epic sideburns, and what other feature?
This is the one game that I've never played from the series.
Let me read out these multiple choice. Ace fighting skills, a green tunic, pointy ears, or big muscles?
Let's go with big muscles, I guess.
Nah, it was pointy ears.
Oh.
2 more questions, Callus. Which
Almost
Legend of Zelda game originally sold alongside a re-release of Link to the Past, which was the first in the series designed to be played by several people simultaneously? You know this one, Callus.
That yes, on the Game Boy, A Link to the Past plus Four Swords.
Let's see. It's right. 4 Swords. You got it.
Nice.
4 Swords Adventures was the GameCube version.
That's
To
right.
anyone at home wondering. All right, it's the final question. The final question in the game. Ocarina of Time. What's the name of the enormous parasite described as a bioelectric anemone which fights Link while inside the belly of a fish? Jabu Jabu.
This is okay. Don't give me a multiple choice yet. Hold on. Wow, I've played through this. This is like the game that I've played the most in the series. I've finished through this game so many times. I guess I'm gonna need multiple choice. I can't remember that boss's name.
Okay. We have Goma, Volvagia,
No.
Barinade, and
That's
Morpha.
Oh wait, what's Morpha? Oh, that's the no. Morpha is the water temple. Okay, so Baronade.
That's correct. Callus, you got 9 out of 12, which means that you really are the master of mind. Congratulations.
Nice. Wish I could have gotten all 12, but what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Well, anyway, what are we gonna do? We're gonna talk about the Nintendo Switch. So let's move on to what was announced at that game showcase and more. All right, Callus, here we are. It's time for the Switch 2 Direct. And going into it, what were you hoping for? First off, like, did you have a bingo sheet? Did you have any ideas about what you wanted to see during it?
I tried to keep a clear head for this one. Like, tried to go in with zero expectations, but of course, in my heart of hearts, I was hoping to see a 3D Mario, the next 3D Mario, which I was sure they were gonna show, but now I don't know. I don't even know if it's coming on the horizon anytime soon. All right.
Well, I don't really know. I don't really know what I really expected going into this because I had ideas of what was gonna be in it that I've already talked about in the podcast, or like when it was going to release and stuff like that. But I didn't really have any expectations for the show itself. I was just happy that like they were showing it off in the first place. So that's kind of the baseline there for me. But yes, let's talk about this. The first thing introduced or shown off was Mario Kart World, of course. That was the one that we saw back in the original reveal trailer. They showed a little bit of Mario Kart gameplay, and everyone was like, going wild with their speculations. Like, oh my god, how many racers? What is it going to be? What's it going to be all about? And we know now that it is a 24 player Mario Kart at times. And it's going to span like a map of like the United States essentially. And you'll be able to essentially in some modes you'll be able to race from one edge of the map to the other while eliminating players behind you. So there's like a battle royale mode mixed in there as well. Along with that, there's grinding, there's wall riding, there's punching question blocks above your head as you go over jumps, there's gliders, there's jet skis. Your car like transforms much like Sonic and Friends Racing Transform.
Yeah, Sonic Racing Transform. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also they apparently you switch your costume mid game by getting the the bags or the fire bags or whatever they were that we saw in the original trailer. You pick those up, you get like a random item, and it changes how your character looks. Still don't really know exactly what that's for, but this is apparently going to be one of the. It is going to be the biggest roster in Mario Kart history, bigger than probably Smash Brothers Ultimate, because not only do you have the core Mario characters and pretty much everyone you can think of, but then they've also added characters that you may not have thought of, like the cow from Moo Moo Village or Meadows. I'm sorry, Moo Moo Meadows, or the there's a Goomba. There's the penguin from Mario 64. Like there's just so many different characters mixed in here.
Basically, a whole bunch of the enemies from like Mario games over the years.
Yes. And there's like the baby characters too, and they're like,
Baby versions, yes, of course, as always.
and it seems like they have removed the cart customization kind of. From what we've seen in the trailers, it looks like all the carts are kind of custom made, but you kind of choose a cart to fit your style. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I mean, I'm very excited for this. The map, I guess the map kind of looks more like Australia now that I see another version of it. But yeah, I mean, this is a really cool idea, and I was watching the TreeHouse gameplay before we did this or started recording this, and the TreeHouse showed how some of the maps that are like Super Mario 3, whatever it's called from the original Mario game that's been remastered like 5 different times. It's just kind of like in the world. So as you're racing along to the next part of the track, you just kind of go through that course for a bit and then come out on the other side and go through another part of the map. It seems really, really cool. Like that is one of the coolest things about the game too.
For sure. Basically, every course that you can race on in the circuit mode is going to be like somewhere in the world that you can freely explore in free roam, which is yeah, really cool. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's like quests to do in the free world as well, or the free roam world as well. Obviously, they showed that you can bring your friends to drive around it with you if you want to. It seems like it's going to be a massive map. And on top
so
of
far
all
they're keeping very hush about what you can do in free roam, but hopefully in the April 17th direct we can get more info on that.
Right, there's an April 17th Mario Kart World Direct specifically just for Mario Kart World. So I'm even with the TreeHouse stuff, they probably still have stuff that they haven't shown off yet or talked about yet, which is pretty crazy.
Definitely, they were like definitely holding back on free roam information, especially. I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, can't wait to find out more.
Right, and what was I going to say? On top of all that, this is a day one release for the Switch 2. There's a bundle containing the game along with the Switch itself, and I'm pretty excited to try this out, and that's all I got to say about it right now. If you're wondering, from our perspective, we're going to talk about the pricing and stuff like that after we talk about the Direct. We want to keep it relatively positive for this section, just so we can get out all of our hype here, and then we'll talk about the other stuff.
Yeah, like when the Switch 2 was first revealed, I was sure they would like try to launch with a Mario game, but you convinced me that no, probably Mario Kart's going to be a launch title, and you were right.
I also said Metroid too, but we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I was right about it launching in June. No one believed that it was coming in June, and I was like, June sounds great to me if they're doing the April Direct. And then yeah, the Mario Kart coming day one. That's a pretty nice win for me. But I'm more so counting the W for the June release. That was my main point building up to this. I think every time that they mention the Switch or I talk about the Switch on the podcast this past few months, I've mentioned June. It's coming June, and what do you know? It's coming June.
Exciting. June 4th, right?
June 5th.
5th, right?
GameChat. This was probably one of the biggest things they talked about. This isn't like something new that Nintendo really hasn't done before. Like you can argue like Mario Kart World, we've had open world racing games before, like Forza Horizon, stuff like that. But this is something pretty unique to the Switch 2 itself, with a game chat almost looking like Discord kind of way that they're doing it here. So the baseline, they started this pretty simply. They were like, okay, you join a party with your friends. They're just like talking avatars like on Discord when you don't have any video. And then they showed off like, hey, there's also like you can stream your video to them while you're playing the game. Like you can stream everyone's video in the same app or same wherever you call it, whatever. And even though the frame rate is very low, yeah, it's like a game share. It's a very low frame rate. I think this is a very cool idea to kind of just see what everyone else is doing, and then you can also highlight what they're doing as well. Like you can pull it up up to the main screen, and you don't have to be playing the same game at once. You can play multiple games. Like someone in the video was playing like Kirby in the Forgotten Land, while someone else was playing Mario World Wonder and all that stuff, Pikmin 4 and all that. And then they went even further. Like they kept ramping this up. So not only is this is what the C button is for, by the way, folks. This is the chat button. Not only is it a stream your game and also chat, but you can also get a separately sold camera to have video chat. And what the Switch does is it actually creates like a green screen behind you if you turn that functionality on, where it cuts you out of your frame, so that you can be talking with people while you're playing the game, and you can be in the corner. Or if you're playing something like Mario Party, your icon will be you'll have your face over the over your character, like your icon. And I can see plenty of applications for this in the future. But that was the antithesis of this whole like little segment that they had, was the fact that the video camera is there and it can actually cut you out and put you like into the game, almost like the PlayStation Eye toy from back in the day.
That is really cool. And also, I should mention that you don't have to buy the Nintendo Switch Switch 2 camera. You can actually buy any USB camera, any USB-C camera will be compatible and can be used for this.
Yes, and there's already been mention of a Piranha Plant camera from Hori, which is a third-party like camera developer who apparently just got the rights to do this new peripheral style. But yeah, that's also really cool too. So you don't have to go out and buy the camera. I think that the Switch 2 has the ability to cut you out of the picture in its own software, not being used by the camera, which is nice
Right.
too.
Everything from like the every feature from like that cutting you out and like using your face for in implementation in the game, and also like audio capture, it's all handled on the Switch. Like, so camera doesn't have to do with any of that, so you can rest easy.
Honk shoe, me. Let's see here. Also, they went over all like the different things that the microphone can do on the Switch 2. They've apparently had this. They've gotten this microphone that can block out any excess noise from the background, which, I mean, it's not unheard of, because Discord has the same features too. But I think they were kind of maybe overselling this a little bit, because the guy's like sitting pretty far away from his Switch, and they're like, "Oh, he's talking, and the Switch can pick him up over this blender right next to him," or someone talking on the
crazy.
phone. And it's like, hold on now, like that's kind of crazy. Like I would understand if it was like the microphone in the Pro controller, which we'll talk about later, but yeah, for the Switch to be on his like nightstand next to his TV, and for it to be picking him up clearly, maybe overselling a little bit, because there was this problem with the Xbox Kinect originally, and it maybe persisted throughout its lifespan, where the Kinect would have to be like near your TV or whatever, so you can do things with it. And if you use the microphone on the Kinect, it would pick up the game audio if you had built-in speakers on your TV, which would just be a big mess while you're playing games. So with friends, of course. So hopefully it's not like that, but I guess we'll see when people test it out.
Hopefully, I mean, like the sound technology has come a long way, so hopefully they've got all that figured out. There's a lot of like AI technology to kind of like filter out all that kind of stuff within the Switch software.
Right.
So hopefully it works good. And also they said that they recommend you being like within 15 feet of the Switch, something like that.
15 feet? I mean,
Yes.
that's a pretty good distance, I would say.
It is a pretty good distance, yeah.
Like I said,
Which is very
we'll see when people start testing it out. We'll see what really what it really can do. I guess just to mention here at the end, parental controls are available for the voice options. So if you don't want your kids talking to everyone, you can approve friends, and only those friends will be able to enter into voice chats and game chats with them. So that is a nice feature, of course, to have. I don't know if you have a kid's account. I guess it all just kind of works in one. So you would log in as the adult and use like a password to approve various friends and stuff like that. And
yeah,
then
I think also they're gonna, like, if a kid requests to like video chat with a friend, it has to be approved by the adult through the app. I think you can do.
yeah, there's
And
also
it has to be like stuff like that, where you can set it to where like you have to approve it every time they connect to someone, so you can monitor exactly who they're talking to and chatting with.
Yeah, that's all through a phone app on your phone. Then you can also choose through the same app if you want background for your camera, or if you want a close up of your face, or no background. That's all through the app as well. So I'm guessing there's going to be like a Switch 2 app that will come out for all of this stuff here. Or maybe it'll be integrated into the Nintendo Today app, which doesn't. No, that never mind. X that out. Cross it out. Garbage that. But yeah, that's that. Any other thoughts about that?
No, it looks really cool. I'm very excited to start getting to parties again, like we did back in the Xbox 360 days.
Right.
We can just like
yes.
chat and play different games. Doesn't even matter.
So, they went over all the different like specs and stuff of the console, kind of in like a brief thing here. But everything that you kind of knew about from the original showcase of it is there. The brand new features are 4K output when docked, and it will use upscaling, whether it be AI or whatever, upscaling while you're in docked mode to make regular Switch games look better and play better. The dock itself is pretty beefy. There's like a fan built into it now, which obviously will cool down the Switch a bit better while it's being played. Also, they showed off that the bigger screen does not mean that's going to be thicker. I think it's going to be a little bit thicker simply because the button to detach the Joy-Cons is there. But essentially, the screen and the console itself is about 7.9 inches wide. But the depth is, at its lowest point, still 13.9 millimeters. Then the display itself is LCD. It's not OLED. If you put an OLED into this one, it probably would cost an extra like $50. So we're okay with that. But it is a pretty high quality LCD screen. They showed just the difference from the pixel standpoint. Since you will be getting 1080 in handheld, that's pretty good, and at 120
And it has
frames per second too.
Oh, and HDR support. So it is gonna look pretty good close. Not as good as an OLED, but pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, that vivid LCD HDR support there should be pretty nice. The Joy-Cons, they work with magnets. The magnets are inside the buttons on the top of the controller. You press the like a trigger on the side of it, which releases the Joy-Con from the Switch itself, and then you can play it on its side if you want to. It will come with one of those Switch Joy-Con controller holder things, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, big news: larger sticks for these Joy-Con, and also they've redesigned the sticks from the ground up. So hopefully, Joy-Con drift will be a thing of the past.
Yes, it didn't confirm it out loud, but I do believe it does have like Hall effect sticks, which uses like magnets basically to function. So there is it basically removes the wear and tear. So there will be absolutely no drift on these sticks.
And that's a callous seal of approval.
Yeah, the most surprising thing actually about this direct is the fact that they went so in detail with all these specs and that they're actually competing in the handheld market. I would never expect them to like try and be a viable competitor in terms of specs.
Right.
So that's very surprising.
Yeah, right now I mean, well that's the thing though. In the past like I would say 5 years, handheld gaming has come so much farther than the Switch 1. And yeah, they kind of had to look at what everyone else was doing and be like, okay, how can we be comparable to these other platforms like the Steam Deck or like the there's like an Asus one as well and all that. So yeah, it's
the ROG.
Yeah, the ROG Ally and whatever. So they definitely needed to make sure that their console was at least up to, if not better than the things that already had come out.
And of course, there are going to be better handhelds in the market, but those are like what $700-800 right now.
Yeah, they'll be pretty pricey.
And none of them come with a dock.
Well, I will say,
So there's that.
Callus, none of them come with built-in mouse. Okay.
True.
Even though they have trackpads for kind of a mouse type thing, the Joy-Cons, it has been confirmed that the Joy-Con can come off and drag around like a mouse. So games like Civilization, or even they showed it off in the trailer, Metroid Prime 4, you'll be able to use one Joy-Con as a mouse, the other one for everything like movement and stuff like that. So that is pretty cool. That'll be definitely a way that I will try out the game because that's pretty unique for a console like this.
Hell yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that their preferred way of playing first-person shooters is to have like a mouse on the right hand and like a controller on the left hand, so they can still use like the control stick and the comfortable triggers on the left hand, and then the mouse movement on the right hand. And this Switch basically gives both to us, and it's really cool. I love that. I can't wait to try that out.
Right. Yeah. And then also, both of them are mouse capable, so you can actually have both mice working at the same time for a game that we'll talk about in the future. Improved speakers and clearer audio. So they've improved the speaker on the Switch itself, which is nice. I mean, I didn't really have any major gripes about the Switch One's speakers, but obviously updating them to be better is always a good thing. So no complaints.
Am I wrong, or did they say that it has like 3D audio without headphones?
Yes.
Or is that with headphones?
So yeah, I think it is. I think it's only with headphones because that's how they showed it in the little graphic. But it does say that 3D audio gives you a full surround sound of your surroundings. So I think it still needs to have headphones. It'll probably do. It probably has speakers built in so that it can still do like that sort of effect, but you just won't be able to hear when something's like directly behind you or whatever.
Yeah, that would be pretty difficult to pull off.
Callus, what do you think of this? 2 USB-C ports.
Love it.
So this allows you to have the Switch in the stand mode with the new U-shaped stand and plug a camera into the top or charge it from the top as well. But it also allows you to charge it from the top or the bottom, whichever one you prefer right there. I'm sure that there'll be plenty of more peripherals added to the Switch. We'll see what they come up with in the future. Hopefully it's like a better version of Labo or something like that, where it's actually like something that's tangible that doesn't meld and mold when you put it into storage. But we'll see what they decide to do. I mean, this does open the door for plenty of new things to be brought to the Switch too. So we'll see what people decide to do with that.
I want them to make a like a small camera that you just plug into the top of the Switch, so you can use portably, and then you can play Game Boy camera on the NSL that way. That would be awesome.
Yeah, or just like a smaller screen for like a DS emulator or something like that, with the NSO service.
Yeah. That'd be a cool idea, yeah.
Also, this internal storage has been more than doubled. It's now 256 gigabytes of total storage, which you're probably going to need for some of these games. Some of them seem to be a bit big, but that's a good amount of storage there for it. And then,
yeah, Nintendo does some kind of mumbo jumbo magic to make the games like super compressed, very small file sizes. So yeah, 256 will probably get you a long way. It doesn't seem like much, but Nintendo games are usually very small.
Yeah, and I think I probably didn't pull the article, but there was something about the Switch games not being or the Switch 2 games not being as big as you think they are. Like, even though some of them are game keys on a cartridge, apparently the download is only like 30 gigs or something like that for the Mario Kart World game or whatever. So, yeah, like I said, magic.
Yeah, and also you can still buy memory cards as long as it's a micro SD Express.
Yes, it needs to have the Express. If it does not, then it cannot be used. And then wrapping up the new console features, they did show that the Switch will be compatible with most Switch 1 games. I'm sure that almost every first-party Nintendo game will work, except for ones that specifically use the IR sensor, which might be like 1 in a million because there's not many of those. But I think that most Switch 1 releases are going to work. I mean, they had a graphic of like all these games scrolling past the screen, so nothing out of the ordinary there.
Actually, so I listened to a podcast of this guy that like went really in depth into like every single interview and every spec and every fine print. And what he discovered is that basically the Switch 2 architecture is completely different than Switch 1, so there's actually no games compatible. And the way it works is they use some kind of like AI machine translation code thing. I don't know the exact wording, but basically an AI powered machine translation coding to help run Switch 1 games on Switch 2, which there have been a few problems they found, which is why not every game is compatible. They're probably going to continuously work on it to make every game compatible or as many games as possible. But for now, they've only approved or they've only like optimized, I guess, like like you said, the main first party games, and probably some big third party ones.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Nintendo's probably never going to use the word AI, like upscaling or anything like that, but you know that there's some sort of AI mumbo jumbo happening there, which will, I'm sure it'll make the games look a little bit better, run a little bit better too. Hopefully, like I'm praying that it'll cut down on some load times because as much as I love Pikmin 4, like the load times to get into the maps initially is just very long, especially when you're doing those courses where you go into a dungeon and you're going deeper into the dungeon or you're trying to get out of the dungeon. It just takes way too long, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's a hardware limitation rather than anything else.
Yeah, but PSA, do not trade in your Switch 1 because even if the game is compatible with the Switch 2, it might not run like the best. There are obviously a bunch that are gonna be optimized, but on some of the more obscure ones, I imagine it's gonna have some issues.
Right. This isn't a case of like, oh, I have a Wii, I can sell that because I'm getting a Wii U. This is definitely a case of like, hey, probably should keep both consoles.
Yeah.
Maybe if you have like a bunch of extra Switch ones for whatever reason, like, oh, I have a Switch OLED and a regular Switch, and I bought the smaller Switch, whatever that was. What was that called? The
Switch Lite.
Switch Lite. Yes. Like you could probably sell like the base model and the Lite and be fine. But I guess maybe if you like the Lite, I mean, I'm not gonna hate, but whatever. They did show the new Joy-Con controller. Obviously, they had to redesign it a little bit because the Joy-Cons don't slide up and down anymore. So it looks like it might be a little bit more comfortable than the original Switch controller. But we'll have to test it to find out because I wasn't too big on the original Switch controller where you slide the Joy-Cons into them.
Yeah, I cannot play the Switch one handheld for too long because the hands are too big for that.
Right. Oh, and another thing that I forgot to mention is that the Switch 2 cartridges are literally the same size as the Switch 1 cartridges. They're just red, which is kind of strange. I think most people were expecting it to either be a bigger cartridge or have something like the 3DS did with a little notch on the side to stop it from being put into a Switch 1. So does this mean that you could buy a Switch 2 version of Metroid Prime 4 and you can play it on the Switch 1? I don't know. They didn't really say anything about that, but it seems maybe like you will be able to do that. I don't know who would want to put the Switch 2 copy into a Switch 1, but maybe if you're lending it to a friend or something like that, I guess it might be a good thing to have.
I don't know. That is interesting. I wonder what they're going to taste like too.
I think they'll taste like dragon fruit here in this one. Dragon D's. All right, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Let's talk about this. This is another launch title, quote unquote launch title. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. This is essentially a virtual guide for the Nintendo Switch 2. It goes over all the features and buttons that you may have questions about. You kind of like put yourself into the game essentially, and you walk around this giant Switch model, and it has like a bunch of information that you could read and listen to and watch videos of. And there was a pretty big concern about what the price of it was going to be. And the price has been confirmed to be 990 yen, which converts to about $6. So who knows if they're going to make it like 10 to round it out or 5 to round it out. I don't know. But
I imagine it's going to be 10.
Yeah, I think that this was like one of those things where we were watching the direct and it's like, oh, cool. It's like a pack-in game like Astro's Playroom or something like that. Something, and obviously this is never going to be, it was never going to be something like Astro's Playroom, obviously, with what it is. But it would have been cool to, like, instead of having like an instruction manual or whatever, you have this game that you can play and you can find out what the screenshot button does or how the LCD works or how the Joy-Cons attachments works and stuff like that for free, and just kind of like, mingle around in there and do your thing. Like, have something that's on the console ready to play day one without the need to pay for anything. And yet they did say at the end of the entire like showcase of the welcome tour, they're like, as a paid addition to your Switch. And it's like, why?
Yeah, I was watching a few reactions and like literally everyone's reactions is the same. It's like super excited for this to try this out, and then as soon as it said paid, everyone's excitement just went ew, all the way down into the gutter.
Yeah,
It's like really Nintendo.
I think this was the first time throughout the direct, and probably the only time during the direct that like I was like disappointed in something, because
Mm,
the rest of it was very exciting. Like it's boom, 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 giving you information left and right. And obviously, as it
right?
went on, the stuff got more and more exciting. And to just kind of like bring it down a little bit with this whole like app that really isn't a game per se. It's just kind of like walking around and reading text and watching videos. Um,
Yeah, they literally said that some of the experience are tech demos. They themselves call it tech demos, and they're making us pay for it.
right. Yeah, I think there was like a Maraca tech demo. There was what else was there that they showed? I had
Mini golf. Did you
Oh
mention that
yeah, the
already?
mini golf. That actually looked kind of cool. I could that also shows that the controller has gyro in it.
Yeah.
Also the thing that they didn't really touch on was the HD. There is HD Rumble. It's like a new version of Rumble for the
Oh yeah.
controller, which would be, I guess, the Maraca mini game would be that. So, yeah, like I said, if this was a free pack-in game, perfect, but it's not, and
Mm.
so questionable.
Also, I do know there's another mini game where like you see a ball like fly across the screen, and you're supposed to guess like what frame rate it's running at, like if it's like 10 frames or 30 or 60.
That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I'll probably end up buying it. But
We buy it reluctantly too.
yeah, hopefully it's not like hopefully it's not hopefully it is like $6, not like 10. But we'll see. But yeah, that was like this
If
was
it's
like
10, it's a maybe for me.
yeah
If it's 10.
this was like the one thing that kind of brought down the vibe throughout the direct. But obviously they ramped right back into it. They showed off the new Pro controller, which does look very much improved. People are guessing, because of something we'll talk about later, if the triggers are going to be pressure sensitive, kind of like how they were with the GameCube. That would be kind of cool. But the main addition to this controller is the C button. Okay, I'm joking. The main addition to the controller
Okay,
are the back buttons. There's new back buttons on it that are programmable.
Yes.
There's one on
Back
each
pedals.
side of the controller. So if you're playing a shooter, or if you're playing whatever game you're playing, you can program those two buttons to do something that you would want to have done with the back buttons there.
Yes, I've been playing with a game that has back pedals, and I love these things. I'm glad that they're bringing in and making them standard now. With Sony and Xbox, only their like premium controllers have them.
Right.
But with Nintendo, you're gonna have them in like the regular Pro controller, which is really cool.
Yes, that is very nice. And like I mentioned before, there is the C button on here, the chat button. There's also an audio jack, which seems kind of old school, but go off, king. Whatever you want to do. I believe they also redesigned the control sticks to be more in line with what you were saying, like the magnetics instead of the Switch versions.
Yes, I believe so. That's also going to be have the Hall effect joysticks.
I don't know if there's amiibo functionality with this one. They did not show the amiibo thing, NFC reader or whatever it's called.
I imagine they would. I mean, they showed amiibos on the direct, so
Yes, it's
I imagine
possible.
they would still have it.
I would hope that it does, but there's nothing mentioned specifically. But maybe we'll find out later, or it's in like the more detailed stuff. They are going to be pricing this at $80, which is not bad for the Pro controller at all. I think this is a pretty, like, it's not a good price per se, but it's a decent price for this, especially if it's a higher quality than the original Switch Pro controller. Oh, you know
It's
what?
crazy that
I'm
the
blind.
Joy-Con 2
There's literally an image of the Switch 2 Pro controller and the amiibo being put onto it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, folks. My bad.
Well, there you go. Cool. Confirmed.
And yeah, I guess the only hope for this is I do hope that the D-pad is better. I think the Switch 1 in general just has a bad D-pad for all of its controllers, except for maybe like the NES controller. But it'd be nice to have like a better D-pad, especially because there's sometimes you need to press two directions at once on the D-pad, and you just can't do that on the Switch 1 for whatever reason. But there you go.
On the Pro or the Joy-Cons?
The Pro controller.
Okay.
Yeah, the Joy-Cons you can because they're buttons, and they did keep that design of the buttons, didn't they? Yes, they did.
Yes,
so, I'm sure that will be a whole other realm of controversy for people. All right,
People should
so
be used to it by now.
yeah, well, we'll see. So they then started to show off some games that have Switch 2 versions, and the first one up was Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This will be a paid upgrade for this one. Some of them are going to be free, some of them won't be. I'm guessing the ones that add extra content are going to have a price tag to upgrade the games.
Basically, the ones that say Nintendo Switch 2 edition are a paid upgrade. Every other game is just going to have like enhancements.
Yes, exactly. So with Jamboree, they're adding in some new mouse-controlled games. There's another one where you like talk, and like Baby Bowser Jr. or whatever, your like the clown car goes up and down, which is kind of interesting. There's camera functionality in here, so you can dance along with the characters. You can have your one, like I said before, you have your face next to your character at all times, as like a little blurb, a little speech bubble almost. So you can see people's reactions as they do mini games and stuff like that. I don't know if I want people exactly seeing my reaction when they, take away a star from me or something like that, but
I do.
whatever. There's apparently like a new Bowser mode as well, where you use the camera like an iToy. Like this moment in the direct was when I was like, "It's the PlayStation iToy. It's literally the PlayStation iToy."
Pretty
like,
much.
You are putting yourself into the game, and the game is reacting to where your body is or your placement of your body, and that's just like, I mean, it's cool. We're going back to the basics. But once again, it's not new per se. It's just a better version of what we had before, a long time ago at this point. Different companies and all that. And like I said, they have a bunch of stuff with the mouse controller as well. They also showed that there'll be some mini games where you will actually use like the motion controls along with the mouse. So like you shake a spray can and then you use the mouse on your desk or whatever to spray things. It looks like they're going to be adding a lot to this. The new mode is called Jamboree TV, which includes a roller coaster where you do various mini games while ride the roller coaster, and also that Bowser mode as well, which I'm not sure exactly what that was, but you like did stuff with Bowser.
Yeah. I hate that the full title of this game is Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition Plus Jamboree TV.
That's
a mouthful.
That's the Nintendo way. It's always plus. It's been plus for quite some time at this point.
Yes.
So I guess we might as well just mention this now. The upgrade packs seem like people are speculating that they're going to be like $10 to $15 for the upgrade packs for the games that are paid. So not a bad price. It is a little bit more than most like upgrades for like PS4 to PS5 games, which are usually $10. But we'll see what they're actually priced when they talk about it more.
I don't believe it's going to be like just one price. Like in general, there's going to be like different games are going to have different prices for their upgrade packs.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Sounds like that. Other games that were mentioned getting an upgrade, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are going to be getting a Switch 2 edition or Switch 2 upgrade. The crazy thing about the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't know, Callus, if you want to take over from here, but they have a new GPS functionality, so you can't ever get lost. You can actually ask like an assistant to tell you like how to get somewhere.
Yeah, basically, if you have the Nintendo app already installed, there's going to be like a new thing that pops up where basically, and this is only for like the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, so this is not going to work on the Switch 1 editions, where basically it's going to have like a bunch of extra features where this navigational thing is going to help you with certain quests and like finding Koroks, like you said, and there is some more stuff. They did mention something about, I mean, not in the direct, but they did say something about there's going to be some extra lore also in the games.
Ooh.
Or it might be just be Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I'm going to guess they're going to do more with Tears of the Kingdom because that was their $70 like marquee game from last year or 2 years ago at this point. So they'll probably do more with that, upgrading it other than Breath of the Wild, but it will be nice to run that game in like 4K, 1080, or 120 FPS, probably look pretty good.
And it's perfect because I only played halfway through Tears of the Kingdom, so this will be a perfect way to continue it on the Switch too.
There you go. Also mentioned, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is also getting a add-on story campaign for the new edition of the game. So you'll get a new area to explore and obviously a bunch of new levels to do with a new story. Metroid Prime 4 was just mentioned that there's going to be a regular Switch version and a Switch 2 version, which will run better and look better and nicer and all that. And then the main event was what I was expecting all along, which was a Pokemon Legends ZNA Switch 2 edition.
Yes.
It wasn't exactly like I thought it was going to be, where like Pokemon Legends Z was the Switch 1 version and A was the Switch 2 version. But it kind of works that way because the Switch 1 version, as we saw from the last Nintendo Direct, was kind of rough looking. It didn't. I mean, it looked better than like Scarlet and Violet, but it still was like okay, what it doesn't look great. But the ZA version for Switch 2 does look better. It's not. It's still not like perfect, I would say, but it looks a lot better. It seems to run, not run,
At
but
least
just
smoother.
look better, run low smoother.
Yes.
And next up was Drag X Drive, showing off more of the mouse functionality. This is a game built around the mouse functionality, where you play as a athlete who is in a wheelchair, and you play Murder Ball. Is essentially that's what the real life game is called for people who are handicapped in wheelchairs. It's called Murder Ball. I'm sure that they will not call it Murder Ball in the game itself. But it plays the same way. You're in a wheelchair. You use the mouse, both the Joy-Cons as mice to move either wheel on your wheelchair, and then you can
So basically the mouse
motion controls to
mouse
shoot the
movements
ball.
are so mouse movements are supposed to like replicate you like moving the wheels forward as you would do with your own hands if you were in a wheelchair. And you're supposed to like pick up the Joy-Cons off of the table to basically aim and shoot the ball into the basket.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a summer release, they said. So I'm guessing it's going to come out pretty early on in the Switch 2 lifespan. I think this is also pretty cool, just in terms of just representation, because there's not a lot of games that I can think like. I can't think of a single game that has like this kind of like representation for people in wheelchairs. Like sure, there's like the off character from like Overcooked 2 is in a wheelchair or something like that, but this is like a full game where it's like, hey, you're playing Murder Ball, you're in wheelchairs. Pretty cool.
It is. It looks pretty cool. I'm just hoping that there's going to be some customization options, because right now all the characters look kind of generic.
Yeah, they look kind of the same, kind of generic. I'm sure there'll be something in there. I would doubt that it would be so basic, but we'll see. People are claiming that this might be the arms of the Switch 2. Have a bit of a boost at the beginning, but die out. We'll see what happens, though.
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Many people were expecting Elden Ring on the Switch 2. Not a lot of people are expecting it to show up in the Direct, but here we go. So Elden Ring is getting a Switch 2 edition of the game, which I believe has some special things in there, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I don't know if there was anything different in this. Includes the base game, Shadow of the Tree, Erdtree expansion, a new armor and torrent appearance and customization features. So there you go. There is something new here for the Switch edition of the game. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, no release date on this one. They just said 2025.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too long, but we'll see. We'll see. Hades 2 is also coming, which makes sense because Hades 1 was pretty big on the Switch. So Hades 2 is coming around. Maybe this will be the official finished version of the game, because right now it is in early access on Steam. So maybe they're planning on doing a full release this year, and one of those full release things will be on the Switch. We'll see.
Yeah, there's no way Nintendo would do like a early release on the Switch 2. So yeah, probably when it's ready to be released, it's going to be released everywhere, including Switch 2.
Right. And then Street Fighter 6 announced a new version of Street Fighter called Street Fighter 6. Oh my gosh, why they name these things
Years
so weird?
1 to 2 Fighters Edition.
Yeah, Years 1 to Versus 1 2 Fighters Edition, yes. This is launching the same day as the Switch 2, so it's a day one release. It's going to have local wireless match support, one-on-one, brand new party modes that include Joy 2 and Gyro battles, calorie counter contest as well. It'll support all three types of control types: classic, modern, and dynamic. And then it will also actually this was pretty big news. They're launching Street Fighter 6 Amiibo. So there will be 5 Amiibo launching with the game, plus some Amiibo cards to go with it. And most of these will actually work with Smash Bros as well. So they will allow you to unlock things for Smash Brothers Ultimate, like Ken, saving your character like Ryu and Ken onto their respective, onto the Street Fighter 6 things. Actually, there's three. I'm sorry. There's. Oh my God. Should I just restart this?
No, it's fine.
There's 3 amiibo, not 5. The other 2 were Ken and Ryu from the original Smash Brothers game. But these amiibos
the
will allow you to
three-
save data and settings, unlock exclusive rewards like music and device wallpapers, and transfer your configurations to other systems, along with 22 themed amiibo cards, which will also unlock the same exclusive rewards in-game. These will be available for $30 on June 5th, the same day of the Switch's launch.
Yeah, and the 3 confirmed amiibos are Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly.
That's right.
So pretty cool. Sad
I
that the
played
amiibo
with,
price is going up a bit.
Yeah, the amiibo. I've never really bought amiibo. The only amiibo I have is the Banjo-Kazooie one. So I'm not really in the know for amiibo pricing these days.
I got a few, not too many. I got a couple though.
Next up, Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. This is releasing September 5th. It is not going to be a Switch 2 exclusive, but Daemon X Machina, the original game, was a Switch exclusive for a little bit, but it is coming to all different platforms, so you don't have to play it on Switch 2. But it is cool that they showed off this mech game during the Direct, and pretty much right away, just from the art style, I was like, oh, is this Daemon X something? And yep, it was Daemon X Machina. So this is like a new game in that series, which is kind of crazy because the original game, I don't remember it doing that well critically. Like, I think it was like a pretty averagely reviewed game. But maybe I'll check it out. I mean, I never played the original one. I do have it on various storefronts from just it being free, so I might want to try it out before this comes out. But this comes out on the 5th of September.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that there's this is a series now. This is the second game in the Daemon X Machina series. So yeah, pretty cool that there's a new franchise now.
Also,
and it looks cool though. I love the mechs.
Yes, mechs are cool. Split Fiction is also coming to the Switch 2. Joseph Fares was in the trailer. W. Fares, of course, as usual.
Yes.
Not much to say here. No, there's nothing new in terms of like features for Split Fiction. They just announced that it was coming to the Switch 2. I don't think it's coming. Oh, it is. It is. It's coming day 1, so you can pick it up day 1 for the Switch 2. And this will be compatible with the cross-play co-op, so you can play, with a friend who is playing on the Switch 1 or the PS4 or wherever. Nintendo also announced that EA Sports Football, FC, and Madden will be coming to Switch 2 eventually whenever the new games get announced, because, another year, another sports game. They did not mention if, like, the EA hockey games were coming over or the college football game, just Madden and FC. They didn't really show anything off. It was just a turf, a field, and they showed a soccer ball, and then they showed a football, and they were like,
yeah,
okay.
That was weird.
There you go.
Makes me think that they're probably not this year, maybe, since they probably don't have anything ready for it yet.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you kind of expect EA to start putting its big marquee series on the Switch. Like the Switch 1 had a couple of soccer games on there. But a lot of them were like 2019 edition, or this is the lower end edition of the football game. But we never had a Madden game on Switch, I don't believe. So this will be at least the first for the series to come to a Switch device.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Then they showed off that Hogwarts Legacy was also coming to the Switch 2. I don't know if it's going to be like a Switch 2 native version, because there is already a Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch 1. But maybe this new version will improve some things, make it more closely related to the next gen version of the game. This
they said it's
be
a
launch
Switch
title.
2 launch title, so yeah, I imagine it's going to be a Switch 2 native version.
So that might be kind of cool. Oh, right here it says I should just read. The new edition packs mouse controls, improved visuals, and seamless world transitions.
That's right. Did they show a little bit of mouse controls for using one of the spells?
Yeah.
On the Direct.
Wingardium Leviosa. Might be kind of cute. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 is coming to the Switch 2 in July as well. The only thing of note here is that at the very end, they showed off that there's going to be some sort of like SpongeBob themed, at least section to a level. The person skating jumps into like a ring floating in the water, and a life preserver type ring, and then they jump into like SpongeBob world. So maybe that means we're getting a full SpongeBob DLC, or maybe it'll be like a little Easter egg inside the game. That's the thing of note there, because they did not show that off before.
Yeah, it's very interesting. If they put a character skating, who would you want it to be?
Squidward.
I knew it. Yeah, I knew you were going to say Squidward. And I agree.
Yeah, I think Squidward would work very well.
Yes.
Also, Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition is coming to Switch 2. Not much to say there. It's just the Hitman World of Assassination, like Hitman 1 through 3 games. The main thing was at the end of it all, they told us that the new 007 game that they're working on will be coming to the Switch 2 as well, whenever that gets fully announced. We don't know anything about this game. This trailer was almost the same as the trailer that I originally showed off for the reveal, so we don't have any information about anything still. But it's cool to know that the game is going to be coming to Switch 2 eventually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited for that.
Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. This is a 3DS.
Did you say barely default?
I meant to say bravely. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. The one thing of note here is that there will be a physical version of this game, and it's going to be a game key cart. So it's weird that they're putting this game that was originally like on the 3DS. They're putting it onto a game cart, a key card, essentially, which is kind of weird. Other than that, nothing else to say about this one.
The thing I want to mention about the game key cards, which at first, like everyone was so down about it, is like, yeah, like why would you want that? Just something that a downloadable game that you have to put a physical card into to play when you have to still download the game. It's dumb, but actually, technically speaking, that you are able to like trade in that key card or like, sell it back or resell it. So that is the one plus side to having a downloadable game on a key card, is the fact that it retains its resale value, just like a physical game would.
Yeah, so essentially you put the key cart into any Switch that you want to, and it allows the game to be downloaded onto that Switch. So
yes,
it still retains some value, but I still would just like it natively to be on the cartridge, because
for sure, yeah.
15, 20 years down the road, they could turn the servers off for the Switch 2. And now you just have a cart that has a download code on it that doesn't do anything. So it's just the fears of modern gaming at this point.
Yep.
Callus, we have one more third-party game to talk about here right now. And that is Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. This is a remastered version of Yakuza 0. And it is going to be launching day one on the Switch, June 5th. So there's going to be never before seen cutscenes, red light raid online 4-player multiplayer mode with up to 60 unlockable characters. There will be French, Italian, German, and Spanish text, along with English voiceover, which is normal. But yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah, and they said that there are more Yakuza titles also coming to the Switch too. So are they going to just bring every single Yakuza game?
They probably will. Yeah, they probably will. But it's good to start with the first one. Well, technically the first one in the series. I just wish that I liked Yakuza games more. It's unfortunate because I really want to get into the series, but I just can't.
If I had unlimited time, I would love to get into them. But yeah, these games are so long.
All right, Callus.
Hey.
It's time.
What's next?
For Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. This is, of course, a Warriors game, so it has the Warriors gameplay that you kind of know and expect from the series, just hordes of enemies in the Zelda style. There's already been 2 of these games before, Hyrule Warriors 1 and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. And now this game, actually, Callus, take it away. This game takes place when?
Sure. So if you play Tears of the Kingdom, you will see that Zelda got teleported back in time, like thousands and thousands of years, and that's where this game takes place. Basically, she got teleported to the War of Imprisonment, where like this huge epic battle took place, and you get glimpses of that in Tears of the Kingdom. But in this game, by the way, is canonical. So you get to experience everything that happened back then in this age of imprisonment, in this imprisonment war. And but yeah, besides that, it's just another Warriors game.
Just another Warriors game, he says, folks. I know there's a lot of people who are hoping for another Zelda, like another Legend of Zelda full game. But I was listening to a podcast, the Nintendo podcast, and the person who hosts that was pretty astute by saying that right now we just had Tears of the Kingdom, and Echoes of Wisdom is technically like a mainline Zelda game too. It's time for the side story Zelda games to come out, and then we'll get another big one. So they're probably putting this out as the placeholder for something bigger coming in maybe 2 to 3 years, which makes sense to me because a lot of times you get like you got Breath of the Wild, and then you got the remake of Link's Awakening, and then you got Tears of the Kingdom, right? So
yeah, for the Switch lifespan, we got a new Zelda game like almost every year, or not a new, but like some sort of Zelda release almost every year of the Switch.
Eating well over
guessing
there,
they're going to try to
Callis.
continue that.
Eating well over there.
Yeah.
Eating so well that he can't even finish Tears of the Kingdom.
Nope. I put like more than 100 hours into it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm only halfway.
That's fair. All right, GameCube games are officially coming to the Nintendo Switch Online service. This has been a long time coming, and I think most people were figuring that they were going to wait to put the Switch, the GameCube games onto the Switch too, because at this point it's like, okay, yeah, why not? But this does come with 3 launch titles for the service, which are The Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX. Those are the 3 launch titles, which will launch day 1 with the Switch as well. A lot of people are excited about Wind Waker. People are kind of scratching their heads like, why aren't we getting the Wii U version of the game? I don't know. Shut up and just be thankful that you got the Wind Waker again. I don't know. That's just kind of like my mentality, at least for this one. Soul Calibur 2, pretty cool because this is the GameCube version, which has Link in it. Zelda fans keep eating well. And then we got F-Zero GX, which is obviously a high-speed racing game in the F-Zero series.
Yeah, actually, I am not a huge fan of F-Zero, but I am a giant fan of F-Zero GX, which has like a campaign, like a story mode, and that's really awesome. It's really challenging too, but like really cool, really awesome. I loved it when I was a kid, and yeah, I can't wait to jump back into that.
Yeah, I think most people know that I am also not a big fan of F-Zero, so maybe GX will be a turning point for me. I don't know.
I think you'd like GX. It's really good.
It
feels really good compared to other F-Zeros. This one feels really good.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna have it anyway, so I might as well try it out.
Yeah.
Also, in like a little slideshow going across the screen, there's a couple of games confirmed to be coming soon or coming at a later date. Of course, Super Mario Sunshine was on there, which most recently re-released with the 3D All-Stars Mario games. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Super Mario Strikers, which is a big dub for me because that was like a big part of my GameCube career. Chibi Robo, which I know you don't know about,
big W.
For me,
I know about it, but I've never played it.
You've never played it, but it is a big W. It is. I was a kid, my dad was like, "Why are you getting this game? This doesn't seem like a game that you will like." And I was like, "Hold on." And I started to play it, and it was like everyone's eyes in the room opened up, like, "Whoa!" It's a very cool, little, cute, fun little robot game. Loved it when I was a kid. I'll probably still love it to this day. We also are getting Luigi's Mansion, the launch title for the GameCube, and Pokemon Colosseum, which is a fighting Pokemon game there. So a pretty good lineup. We'll see if they are as slow as they are with the Nintendo Switch Online service usually.
Probably.
Because right now we're kind of being starved of Game Boy Advance games or Nintendo 64 games too. But we'll see what they do. I'm sure that they will slowly, every month maybe, launch another GameCube title, hopefully, because that would be nice to. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Chibi Robo's super excited for. Like, it's the one I've wanted to play the game for the past 20 years, but like, it's such an expensive disc
Yes.
to buy on the GameCube. But yeah, I'm so happy about this.
Very expensive for some reason. Probably because it didn't sell too well. It was a bit of a underground type game. But I loved it. That's all that matters.
But did you mention that the GameCube controller is also coming?
That is a good.
That
is a good. That is a good one moment, please. Yes, the GameCube
Yes.
controller is. There is a GameCube controller coming out. Don't worry, Callus. It has the C button and the C stick.
Oh, thank you.
Thank God. But yeah, that'll be a new wireless controller for the GameCube stuff. And a lot of
Available
people
for Nintendo Switch Online members.
A lot of people say that the GameCube controller is one of the best ever made, and I'm kind of in agreement with that because it feels nice in the hands. The A button is nice and big, and the rest of the buttons kind of circle around it, so you know where they are. It just needed a better D-pad, which I don't think they improved, but I mean, I'm sure it's improved, but you know.
Yeah, it does feel really good to hold in your hands, and like, the squeezing the triggers feels really nice.
I know you like to squeeze things, Gallus.
Yeah, you know me.
All right, so Deltarune.
Yeah, like we were saying, Deltarune 1 or 2 is available right now, but 3 and 4 is the new chapters, which will be paid. 1 and 2 you can download for free.
There we go. Short and quick, to the point. Yeah, so
yes.
That's pretty cool. I think that most people enjoyed the first 2 chapters of Deltarune, so cool to see that they're all coming to the Switch day one. The Switch 2 day one.
Yeah, I need to play it. I was a big fan of Undertale, so I really need to play this one.
Yeah, Undertale's great. Love that one. Never got around to playing the Deltarune games. Next up, Randy Pitchford. He found his USB stick, and it had a Switch 2 version of Borderlands 4 on it. Wow, who could have seen this coming? That was pretty much it. They didn't show really any new gameplay for Borderlands. Maybe a couple of like things here and there, like a new enemy type or whatever. But for the most part, I'm holding my breath on Borderlands 4 because even though Borderlands 3 did make it onto my top 10 list the year they came out, I've said over and over again how on replay and throughout my playthrough, I kind of was I was kind of ignoring the stuff that I wasn't liking, and going back and replaying the game several times now, the story just pisses me off at times, and the game itself just not top 10 quality anymore. So hopefully Borderlands 4 comes around and I enjoy it more, because I had a lot of problems with Borderlands 3. I'm surprised that I even dared put it on my top 10 list the year that came out, but whatever. I think I was kind of scorned because I bought the collector's edition, so I was like, oh, I have to like this because I bought the fucking $200 collector's edition. Anyway.
Don't you have a Borderlands tattoo also?
I do. Yes, I do. I do.
Big fan.
I am a big fan of the series. Like I like Borderlands 1, 2, pre-sequel, bangers. I even like that Tiny Tina game that came out a couple years ago. That was good. Borderlands 3 though was the dark point for me, and we'll see what happens with Borderlands 4. I like I said, I'm going in just like holding my breath. Like I want to see way more of the game before it launches. I'll probably still pick it up anyway, but you know, whatever.
Right.
Moving on, Civilization 7 Nintendo Switch 2 Edition. That is coming day one as well. This will be utilizing the mouse controls, which makes sense.
That's very cool. This opens up the possibility of many more like RTS or strategy type games to come to the Switch 2 in the future with mouse controls. I am very excited for that feature.
And I know that you're extra excited for Fortnite.
Yes.
They didn't really show too much of Fortnite, but I'm guessing that the mouse controls will be compatible with that too for aiming and stuff like that.
Well, funny enough, this is one of the games that they mentioned that is the Switch 1 version is not compatible with Switch 2, which doesn't even matter because there is a Switch 2 edition coming day one anyways. So I don't even know why that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah. It's not like they even sold game cartridges for the Switch 1, Fortnite. By the time Fortnite got as popular as it is, they were doing like those blank boxes with codes inside of them, so it doesn't even matter. Like you said, very strange. WWE 2K and NBA 2K are both coming to the Switch 2 as well. Of course, the newest WWE game will probably be ported over, and whatever the new NBA game will be ported over as well, I'm sure. So you probably won't have to wait till next year to get those, which I guess will be nice for fans of those series.
It's another one where they did not show anything at all of what they looked like.
No, yeah, they didn't show anything at all. They just had the two guys standing there, and they were like, "Yep, they're coming. We're coming." Another game, Survival Kids. This is coming day one to the Switch 2 as well. It'll be a 4-player survival crafting game where you try to escape an island together. Kind of reminds me of Lord of the Flies a little bit because you are kids stuck on an island. Hopefully there will be no boulders being dropped onto kids' heads.
And holy crap, I just noticed this is coming from Konami.
Konami?
I just realized that, yeah.
It's kind of wild. Here was a pretty big one. Enter the Gungeon 2 will be coming to the Switch 2 eventually. They did not give a release date for it. But if you don't know, Enter the Gungeon 1 is a top-down shooter, bullet hell kind of shooter. So they kept with the bullet hell in this one, but they made it 3D, which adds a lot of craziness to the design of the game as a whole. So I am very excited to play this because the original game is so much fun.
It does look pretty cool. I mean, I'm happy with the direction they went with the like the art style in 3D. Looks really good.
And it's also coming to PC as well. If you don't want to check it on Switch, it is coming to PC.
So I wonder if this is gonna have like some sort of like mouse controls for aiming.
Maybe. I mean, it would seem likely because it is a. I mean, I played the game on PC because it felt better, just through aiming and stuff like that. So I'm sure they'll have mouse controls in there. I don't see why not. There's an Astroneer, I guess, sequel coming out called Star Seeker Astroneer Expeditions. This is a game where you venture to worlds unknown, various, I guess, planets, different planets, or maybe you go to a planet that is very strange, and you play as these little astronaut guys who just try to survive. It does seem to be multiple planets, though, because there seems to be like a hub world kind of base where you start off with and you venture out with your friends. So it might be like a bit of like an MMO as well, a massively multiplayer game. So it could be kind of cool.
That would make sense because that's called Astroneer Expeditions. So maybe, yeah, expeditions plural. So yeah, imagine there'd be multiple planets to explore.
Next up, we got Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition coming to the Switch 2. This game originally launched missing the Switch version. But now we are getting a Switch 2 version of the game, and hopefully it'll run pretty good. It will come in the Ultimate version of the game does have the DLC included, so you don't need to worry about buying that separate. Also, they announced that the game is going to fit onto a Switch 2 cartridge, so this will not be a game key. The whole game will be on the cartridge, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, awesome. Is this where I'm actually going to play this game for the first time? Because I have wanted to play this, but I just never got around to it.
That would be kind of wild, Callus. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Also, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to the Switch 2 as well. No release date for that, but it is coming. This version does include all the fixins that they added to Final Fantasy VII Remake, which includes the new character and new story for that character as well. This is pretty big, huh, Callus? This is pretty big.
It is. It's crazy that it was announced for Switch 2 before any confirmation for any Xbox version.
Xbox who? I believe next was a bit of a reel of different games. So we got Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess. That's coming day one. It'll have some extra content called the Otherworldly Venture, and also will allow mouse controls as well. Callus, Hollow Knight Silksong mentioned. All right.
Oh, empty. For only 3 seconds. They showed up for 3 seconds. It's live.
It was new. It was new gameplay footage, and they did confirm it's still coming in 2025. But yes, Silksong was there. Story.
Does Nintendo not know how big this game is? How much people have been looking forward to it? That they just showed it for 3 seconds instead of like being its own thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Hollow Knight 1 on the Switch was a major success, so you would think that they would know.
Yeah.
Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, the new Story of Seasons game, is coming to Switch 2 on August 27th, which I believe is the same day as the regular version release. Goodnight Universe. This is a game where you play as like a baby. I don't know what you really do in it, but you're a baby.
It's very weird.
2 Point Museum will be coming to the Switch 2 as well sometime in 2025. It will include mouse controls, which obviously makes sense for this type of game because it is a management type game, top-down management type game.
I'm actually interested in this one. Like, I wasn't interested in the other 2 Point games, but this one I'm actually interested. It looks really fun.
Because Callus is a history buff. He loves his history, huh?
Maybe. Well, it's cool because you can also like you can have people like capture ghosts, and then you can like have a ghost house display, and you gotta like make sure the ghosts are in the correct era, like in their room, are decorated with the right era stuff, or where they're from, or like they'll escape and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun ideas in that game.
Yes. We know that our friend Topaz is very much into the 2 Point game, so I'm sure she'll be very happy to hear about a Switch 2 version if she does end up getting the console. Wild Hearts S. 2 S's right at the end there. Hearts S.
Hearts S.
This is what? This is like an open world crafting game as well, where you fight monsters, I suppose.
It's a Monster Hunter. I don't know if it has crafting, but all I know is it's a Monster Hunter like a multiplayer centric game basically.
Craft your hunting grounds and weapons, gear up to hunt, then take down massive monsters. So, yeah, I guess it's got a little bit of craft in there. Like maybe you'll be able to craft your base and build it up so that you can prepare to fight a monster or whatever. Interesting, though. We just got the newest Monster Hunter, so it'll be interesting to see how this will do when it releases on July 25th. Witchbrook. This is coming holiday 2025. They showed this off with the last Nintendo Direct as well, so they're just confirming that there is going to be a Switch 2 version, or it's going to be compatible with Switch 2 as well. This is the pixel art, like top-down witch game, Hogwarts-esque game, like kind of like Harry Potter kind of game, but very cute, coming from Cuddlefish.
Absolutely gorgeous pixel art style.
Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S is going to be a day one title for the Switch 2 as well. If you don't know, Puyo Puyo, it's pretty much Tetris except you use little blobs and you connect the blobs. But it does have a Tetris mode in it too, so you can play Tetris or Puyo Puyo. Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma. I don't think there was a lot shown off about this one. This is also coming June 5th, the same day as the Switch 2. They didn't really give too many details about that. I'm sure maybe mouse controls will work for this one too. I'm not sure exactly what it's all about.
I believe this is the newest entry in the Rune Factory series. But yeah, besides that, I don't know much else.
Makes sense, I suppose. Makes sense. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This was announced at the last Nintendo Direct, like a week ago. So they're just confirming, I guess, that the game is coming to the Switch 2 as well. And it looks very good. Looks very fun. Love the pixel art style on this one. Star Wars Outlaws, surprisingly, getting a Switch 2 version. People thought this game was pretty much dead at this point because it didn't sell very well, didn't review very well. But here we are. It's getting a Switch 2 version.
Yes. There's a little bonus for video watchers there.
Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. This is coming day one as well. This is what? A RTS of some sorts?
Kind of more like a civilization type of game, like a turn-based strategy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to use the mouse controls as well. And this version will include Joy-Con 2 support, optimized graphics, and all previous DLCs that were launched for the game.
It's an insane series. This series has been going on since, I believe, the NES days.
Wow, okay. Hey, good on them. Fast Fusion is launching on the Switch 2 as well. Hyperfast Speed kind of reminded me of Wipeout in a way. It will run at 60 FPS in 4K HDR. You'll have some anti-gravity jumps, fast vehicle fusion, where you can create hundreds of new racing machines by fusing vehicles together. And motion controls, along with HD Rumble, will be utilized in this as well.
It's funny because for the longest time when the Switch 1 launched, the only two games I had was Breath of the Wild and Fast RMX, which is another launch title. And it's funny they came back to do another Fast game in the series for the launch of the Switch 2.
They probably sold enough copies because of the limited amount of games for the Switch 1 at the time. And they were like, we don't have to make another game until something else gets announced. just been laying back, waiting for it to happen. Shadow Labyrinth, not Pac-Man. Shadow Labyrinth has been confirmed to be coming to the Switch 2 as well. Nothing new there. They did announce in a press release afterwards that there will be a physical edition of the game coming as well. They did not show a Switch 2 official version of the cartridge, but they did show that there's going to be a physical edition that'll come with a booklet inside the case, some glow-in-the-dark stickers, some enamel pins, and a double-sided poster along with a blacklight keychain for a kind of like a deluxe edition of the physical version. So might be kind of cool. Another game that they showed off at the last Nintendo Direct, Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. This is getting a a Switch 2 version. There you go. Another one, No Sleep for Konami Date, is also coming to the Switch 2 as well. Nothing crazy there.
From the Insomnium Files. It's like the third game in the series.
Reanimal, the new game from the Little Nightmares developers, will be officially coming to Switch 2 as well. Not much else shown there. I am very interested in this one, especially with how Little Nightmares 2 was so good. I am expecting this to be just as good.
Is this from same developers as Little Nightmares 2?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool.
We already mentioned Fortnite, but in this article they have the Silk Song image here. So
weird.
Weird. This was a weird one. They showed Arcade Archives 2 Ridge Racer is a day one launch, I guess, on the Switch 2. This is an old school Ridge Racer title. It doesn't look very it doesn't obviously it looks fine for its day, but it's nothing that I would have maybe put into a Switch 2 sizzle reel, but hey, there you go.
I mean, it can't be a system launch without a Ridge Racer, right?
True.
I guess they didn't have enough time to make a new one, so...
We have some more sizzle games. Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. This is the new Professor Layton game. Will be coming to Switch 2 as well.
Nice.
Tamagotchi Plaza will be launching on Switch 2 alongside its Switch 1 edition. So there's actually a Switch 2 edition of this game, so it's actually a separate edition. I'm sure it's going to be about the same, though. Probably it might have mouse controls included, though.
Maybe.
Human Fall Flat 2 will be coming into the Switch 2.
So excited for this. I believe this is the first time we've ever seen gameplay of Human Fall Flat 2, because when it was revealed, it was just like a CG animation. This is the first time I'm actually seeing gameplay for it.
You might be right. Although, yeah, you might be right. I don't remember, but I think you're right. But that was our sizzle.
Me and my brother spent hours and hours on the Human Fall Flat 1, so I'm very excited for this.
All right. The sizzle is over, but the fire is just starting. Because Nintendo was like, and here's the last third-party developer announcement. And it was a game from Software, which almost right away, I think everyone was like, is this a Souls game? Is this like a Bloodborne? And what do you know? It seems like it's going to be Bloodborne adjacent, at least in theme. But it's called the Duskbloods. This is a Switch 2 exclusive game coming to the system in 2026. It seems to be more closely related to Night Rain than something like Bloodborne, but the style does fit the Bloodborne scene. And it looks like it's going to be be like a co-op Souls game, maybe with some PvP, PvE in there. We'll wait to hear more information about that.
Yeah, from what I can gather, there's not going to be like a traditional campaign mode. Instead, you're going to have to jump into matches, and there's going to there's like an end to the matches. There's end goals, whether it be killing other enemies or killing a boss together. There's there's going to be different things happening on each match. So can't wait to find out more about that, because it all sounds very interesting. Either way, I'm here day one. It looks really good.
Yeah, it does look very good. And also, it seems to have also the Night Rain system of having a predetermined character that you choose. Like one guy's like a vampire, the other one has like a
Yes.
jetpack on his back, and he's like in iron armor. There's another guy that was kind of like clad in black and gold or whatever. So there's also
Oh
like
yeah,
a
the other
guy who
thing.
transforms into a T-Rex too. Like, hello.
Yeah, the other thing I read is that there are going to be like over a dozen characters, but you can customize each one, and like as you complete missions, you gain more money for buying things to customize with. So yeah, that'll
Yeah,
be cool.
sounds cool. Sounds very cool. I'm very excited for that. Yeah, the Duskbloods.
Really surprising. Probably the biggest surprise of this direct.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was kind of expecting Elden Ring, but no one was expecting Nintendo to team up with FromSoft for an exclusive game. That's pretty crazy.
Right.
After that, Kirby Air Riders, the sequel to Kirby Air Rider or Air Ride, Kirby Air Ride.
Right. Yeah.
I played a lot of Air Ride when I was a kid. Funny story about this game is I bought it for my sister for her birthday, and I was the one who played it. So, yeah, I mean, this is they didn't really show anything about it, but it was a pretty exciting reveal because Air Ride is another like cult classic kind of game. Has a very unique game mode in there that kind of like inspired plenty of other games in the future. And then, this one's coming from Sakurai, Masahiro Sakurai, who did the Super Smash Bros. Series. So he's still working. He's still out there working.
Yeah. Yeah, a few months ago, he did reveal that Nintendo approached him with a new game to work on, and he was like very excited for it. And I guess this is it.
Yes, very cool. He also said not to expect new information for some time. So they're probably just starting work on this. So,
well, hold on. Didn't they say 2025?
No. Oh, it did. That's weird.
Because yeah,
Sakurai came out and he was like, "Oh, there's not much to talk about right now." So, I don't know. Weird. Okay, 2025. There you go. And Callus, if that wasn't exciting enough, the ending of the showcase gave us the biggest surprise of them all: a 3D Donkey Kong game. This is coming from the same people who did Mario Odyssey, obviously. I mean, it has its coding written all over it. But it does
look very Odyssey-like.
Play as Donkey Kong. And it's funny because everyone was questioning why there was a new version of Donkey Kong for Mario Kart Worlds. And I don't think anyone was expecting a new Donkey Kong game to be releasing on the Switch a month after its release. So this one is called Donkey Kong Bananza, like Bananza. This is going to be coming July 17th, so it's about a month after the Switch's release, and it just looks fantastic. The TreeHouse gameplay looked amazing. The game itself and the trailer looked incredible. The main gimmick of the game is that Donkey Kong can just kind of like smash through anything. He can literally just like pile his way dig his way underground and find things on the ground, or blow up walls by throwing boulders, or break into walls throwing boulders and stuff like that. I think this is going to be a fantastic experience.
I cannot wait. It looks like. Actually, I wanted to mention, like, what's your thoughts on the design of this Donkey Kong?
I like it.
On this new redesign.
I think it looks fun. It looks cute. It kind of reminds me of like the old school like Donkey Kong skin from like his like Donkey Kong the arcade game. Like it's kind of reminiscent of that. And I like that he has
so like retro but new.
Yeah, it's like exactly. And I also like that he has like some overalls on or whatever. I think that's very cute.
It's weird, yeah, because he's wearing these blue overalls for most of this trailer, but on most of what they show on the Nintendo Treehouse, he didn't have the overalls. So I guess there might be customizations.
Either that, or you start off as Donkey Kong, but then as you go through the game, he gets captured and you play as Donkey Kong Jr. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the design of Donkey Kong himself like looked exactly the same. It's just like without the overalls.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
We'll have to find out.
Right. Although this Treehouse gameplay I'm looking at does have the overalls, but sometimes it doesn't.
Oh, really?
He's naked. He's naked sometimes, in overalls other times.
Yeah. I am not a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country games, but I am a big fan of Donkey Kong 64. So yeah, I am super excited for this game. I cannot wait to play it. Very excited.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna have a lot of collectibles in there. Gonna have a lot of different gameplay features. It looks like clapping, kind of like in Donkey Konga, you clap to hit notes sometimes. It looks like clapping's going to be a big thing in this one. And then also the main thing is to find like these bananas, these big gemstone bananas. So you can also like slam the ground to find them through walls too, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely is Mario Odyssey coded. But I think now this is my hope. I would hope that they tone back on how many like of those gemstone bananas there are, because as you know, my main gripe about Odyssey is the fact that there's like 1,000 fucking moons in there that you have to find.
I do expect it to be big, but yeah, hopefully it's not going to have that many. Although I personally didn't mind that with Odyssey.
Oh, we know.
I was just happy to play more Mario. And like with this game coming out, I no longer think that it'll be like a 3D Mario game at the end of the year, like I originally predicted. I don't see Nintendo releasing two big open world 3D platformers in 1 year.
Yeah, plus they got Pokemon ZA coming out at the end of the year too, so they definitely wouldn't want to split the sales with a marquee Mario release, you know. So maybe next year, next year.
But for sure, there is going to be another big surprise coming out at the end of this year, though. They have to have like another big holiday title that's not Pokemon.
We'll see. I mean, Pokemon's pretty big. Pokemon is pretty big. And Metroid
but
Prime 4 is also... They don't have a release date for Metroid Prime 4 yet, too. So
that is true. But you know there's going to be... Because this game comes out in July, and we don't really know much else coming out the rest of the year past July for the Switch 2. So, you know, there's probably going to be another Direct later on, and it's going to have a bunch more surprises.
Yeah, we'll see.
You can bet on that.
Yeah, we don't know exact release dates for a lot of things, but we do know 2025 in general. So, yeah, we'll see what they have. We'll see what they have cooking.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing we didn't really touch on, because they didn't really show much of it, I think they didn't even have a spot in the article for it, was Metroid Prime 4. So the TreeHouse showcase was very good for this. The graphics look amazing, and it just like like as a person who is more of a recent Metroid fan, like this is looking excellent. And the guy in the showcase was using the mouse controls for most of the playthrough, which is pretty cool too. So he had one mouse on the table and the other mouse, not the mouse, but the Joy-Con was in his hand. I mean, the graphics look stunning. Obviously, they're playing it in the 4K mode for the Switch, which looks fantastic. We did get some side by side comparisons of the original Switch version and this Metroid Prime 4 Switch 2 version. And it does seem like the Switch 1 version is definitely a bit, like, I think even with Pokemon ZA, it's a bit, like, fuzzy. Like, the screen, like, looks a bit fuzzy. The graphics aren't as sharp, which is probably just because the Switch 1 can't handle the amount of processing it needs to do all these lighting effects and all these sharp edges and stuff like that. But, Metroid Prime 4 is looking very, very good. And this might also be another, like, marquee release this year for the Switch. Like, this is looking to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Can't wait. As you know, I'm a huge Metroid fan, so definitely looking forward to this. Wait, I know you talked about the specs earlier, but did you mention how like docked is going to be 4K?
Yeah, I think that was the first thing I said.
That's one of the things. Oh, okay.
That's okay. We can mention it again because it is big news. Docked 4K, 120 FPS, AI upscaling. Well, AI quote unquote upscaling. We don't know if it's
the DLSS upscaling.
Yes,
which is basically AI.
Right, but Nintendo's never, like I said, Nintendo's never going to say it's AI.
They're not going to say that. Yeah.
But they'll call it magic before they call it anything else, I would say. So, other things. Go ahead.
Sorry, my video just stopped recording, so you might have to do the rest video list for me.
Oh,
I guess I ran out of space.
You ran out of space. Oh boy. Well,
I've been downloading a bunch of VODs.
I'll put a PNG of Callus's face like right here for the rest of the stream.
Yes. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm glad to have had you and your smiling self in the video for so long. Let's talk about the UI for the Switch, which does look very much like the Switch 1. I think a lot of people were hoping that the UI would at least include themes from the get-go, like some themes or something like that.
I haven't really looked at this.
if you look at the Switch 2 Guide Ultimate Resource, this shows a picture of the Switch UI, kind of like halfway down the page, not even. And we only got like a quick like snapshot moment of this during the direct, so it's not like it was a big deal. But essentially, it looks like the Switch 1, except it has more stuff on the like bottom bar of it. So you have like a online button, you have a Nintendo eShop button, a pictures button. It looks like the C button is also built into the console itself, the chat button. I'm guessing the green thing is a news button.
Most likely news, yeah.
Then you have other things like files, save files, controller settings, stuff like that. So it does look very basic, and I'm hoping that they do put themes onto the Switch, because I mean, imagine a Metroid Prime theme for this layout. I think that'd be awesome. Or like a Mario Kart World theme for this. Just for buying the game, you get a free theme. Like I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm guessing that they didn't do themes for the Switch 1 because they wanted to have as much processing power so that when you hit the home menu, it can just pop up as fast as possible.
Right.
So for smoothness. So I'm sure now we will have themes back now that we're running with what they said, like 10 times more power than the Switch 1.
Yeah. Let's also just talk about the backwards compatibility a little bit, because I don't know if we touched on it too much during the talk, but backwards compatible with most Switch 1 games. There is a official list of games that have compatibility issues, which is, I mean, it does have a fair amount, but it's not a lot actually. So some of the bigger titles: Alan Wake Remastered, Alien Isolation, Asphalt Legends Unite, Dust and Elysian Tale, Fall Guys, Godlike Burger, Hitman 3 Cloud version, Hot Wheels Unleashed, Just Dance 2019, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Overcooked All You Can Eat version, Sniper Hunter Scope, I don't even know what that is, Saints Row 4. So yeah, I mean, but really, there's not really that many games on this list. I think it's like 30 games, so that's not too bad, all things considered. And these are games that are being investigated, so I'm guessing that they'll fix something, either update the games or do something with the Switch software to get them to work anyway. So might not even be that big of a deal in the long run. But
like I said, they're just using machine code translation to translate Code 1 Switch games to Switch 2. So yeah, I'm sure it's just going to take more optimizing individually on game by game.
And then quickly, these are the games that have Nintendo Switch 2 editions that are first-party Nintendo games. So we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land has a Star-Crossed World edition, Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon ZA, Mario Party Jamboree, and both of the Legend of Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, will have official Switch 2 versions. Not all of them will be paid versions, like a paid upgrade. I believe Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon Legend ZA, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom will all be a free upgrade, whereas Jamboree and Forgotten Land will have like a fee, some sort of fee, $10, $15, hopefully, at the most.
Well, free upgrade if you're a Nintendo Online member.
Oh, that's a good thing to mention. That's a good thing to mention.
Yes.
Yeah, so that they're free if you have the NSO Online. I don't think you have to have the expansion pass, but you do need Nintendo Switch Online. All right, moving on to the pricing of the whole thing. A lot of people say that the pricing is what kind of ruined the whole day, because the Direct came out and it was an S-tier Direct, easy S-tier Direct. Everything was so fantastic. Like, yeah, sure, the price tag on the little pack-in game, or should be pack-in game, kind of a downer, but the rest of it, perfect. But the pricing of it is kind of where people started to get a bit lost in the sauce. I think the console itself isn't too bad of a price. It's $450 for the base console with nothing added on, and then there's a $500 edition of the console that comes with Mario Kart Worlds. And I don't think that's bad at all. I think that's a pretty fair price. That's within my price range, I should say. That's kind of what I was expecting, $400 to $500.
Yeah, I was hoping for 400 and expecting 500, so I 450, like right in the middle.
But I guess the main thing that is really bugging people is the fact that these Switch 2 games are priced very strangely. It's a very bizarre pricing range. So Mario Kart World, sit down because you'll probably fall over, $80 for Mario Kart World standalone. So that I'm right off the bat, pretty crazy, pretty insane. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a month later, is $70. So it's like, okay, so our Switch game's going to be $70. Are they going to be whatever? Also, Kirby in the Forgotten Land with the expansion pack, I believe, is like $70 as well. So yeah, I mean, the pricing for the games are it's very strange, and I'm hoping that this does not set a precedent in the gaming world landscape, because I mean, $70 is already like a hard pill to swallow. Like that's $10 more than I've been paying for almost my entire great gaming career, right? And now we're adding on $10 more for these $80 games. Like, what's gonna constitute an $80 game? Like, what's Nintendo done with Mario Kart World that justifies it being $20 more than the base version of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Like, it's just,
I don't know, but I'm hoping that the April 17th direct is gonna woo us into explaining why it's so much. I mean, hopefully they're adding like a whole bunch of like missions and stuff into like the free roam.
Hopefully, I'm hoping that it will be an $80 value, but I think no matter what Nintendo does right now, people will be complaining about that $80 price tag. Because Ubisoft and EA are back there going, oh, $80 games on Nintendo, $80, huh?
You know it. But they are like, yeah, like you said, there is like a wide range for the prices. Because I know like, I think it was Street Fighter that was $60 and Bravely Default something like $40. So yes, depending on the game, there's like a wide range of prices that you can expect from these games.
And that's kind of what we've been seeing with the Switch 1 as well. Like WarioWare was $50, Kirby was $60, Tears of the Kingdom was $70. I think there was a Princess Peach Showtime was like $50. So it's just a really weird pricing scheme from Nintendo in general, especially with like their remasters and remakes. Like Donkey Kong Country HD Returns HD was like $50. But Metroid Prime Remastered was $40. Like it's just they have been, I should say, weird with the pricing recently. So it kind of extends into the Switch 2, where it's like, okay, now we have an $80 game and a $60 game and a $70 game and a $70 game. It's like, okay, well, how much are the games going to usually cost? Because that's kind of more what I'm concerned about, because it's already a pretty beefy price tag to do $500 for the console. But to add on,
there is no more usual. That's our new.
Our new usual is unusual.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, it would be nice to know what Nintendo is thinking, but we never know what Nintendo's thinking. Also, the price for the U.S. version and the European version of the console is actually like $100 more than the Japanese version. So the Japanese version of the console, which is technically region locked because it's only in Japan, like it's only Japanese, like you can't switch your to English or anything like that, which is pretty wild in itself. But that one is 49,980 yen, which is approximately $333. So we're getting a bit of a price hike over here, which could get worse because the recent tariffs that just launched the day that we're talking about this could increase that price even more, because, and I don't usually get political on here, but I need to for this segment, President Trump has enacted, where was the official number here? Hold on, I lost the page. Give me a second. Holy
I know something like 40 something percent, 47% on where Nintendo's currently manufacturing games, which I believe is in Vietnam.
Yes, that is. I had that link pulled up with the exact numbers, but I'm missing it. But yeah, you're. It's like 45% in Vietnam, which is where the Switch is manufactured, and then also on top of that, Japan exports are like 25% or something like that, or 30%. So Nintendo has actually delayed the pre-order for the Nintendo Switch 2. Originally, it was like, oh, pre-order on April 9th. But in the U.S., that has been pushed back or delayed. We don't know when they're going to allow pre-orders now, because they're probably just waiting to see what's going to happen with the whole tariff situation. Trump has kind of been up and down with like, okay, we're doing tariffs or we're not doing tariffs, and now we're doing tariffs, and now we're doing tariffs like this. And so we'll see exactly what happens with all that. And maybe that's what Nintendo is waiting for. They're waiting to see like, where is this all going to pan out? Are these tariffs going to stick around for the next year or so, or how long are they going to stick around? We don't know. So that's probably what Nintendo is waiting for, at least for right now. But we do know that they still do plan to launch the console on June 5th, no matter what. So they'll probably, I mean, I would think the delay would be pretty short, considering that it comes out so soon. The console comes out so soon, but we'll see.
Hopefully. I mean, I hope these tariffs don't go through, because if they do, then that's just going to be extremely detrimental for the entire industry, like the entire gaming industry, and like pretty much every other industry, really. But
I found the
yeah,
official numbers: 46% tariff for Vietnam and 24% for Japan. So.
Oh, there we go. It's yeah, because Nintendo used to manufacture the systems in China, but they moved it to Vietnam. Wait, is it Vietnam or
it is
Taiwan?
Yeah. It is Vietnam.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, for fear of these tariffs, they switched it to Vietnam. But yeah, now Vietnam has like extremely high tariffs, so sucks all around.
Yeah, not great for the gamers out there. And people are demanding that Nintendo, put I guess in like the TreeHouse chats, they were demanding them to reduce the price. At this point, I don't know if any amount of outrage is going to make them reduce the price, simply because if I feel like if they do, for at least I don't know, it's hard to talk about because there's so much more context around this. But I think that they won't reduce the price simply because it's gonna cost them money in the end. They'll have to, on top of manufacturing costs and stuff like that, they'll have to pay more to ship it overseas, and because of that, they're gonna lose tons of money if they ship it for $70 to $80, right? So, or lower than $78. So, which sucks. But send a letter to your politicians. I guess that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, hopefully they will receive enough backlash to not go through with it, but we can only hope at this point.
It's a wait-and-see moment for the centuries. But I guess the last talking point is, did the whole pricing situation, did that cause the hype to go down for the Switch 2? Like, is this going to be a Wii U situation where the Wii U launched and like no one was really that hyped for it? Is it going to be a situation like that? Because I already know that there's a lot of people who are saying like, hey, it's too, like, the price in general is too much for me, and I'm just going to skip out on this. Like, once I should say, once the games were shown to be higher in price, they said, well, I'm not going to be able to pay for that. Because I think most people are okay with the base price of $450 for the console plus the $500, the extra $50 for the game. I think that people are okay with that price. I think the main sticking point for a lot of people, when it's justified for sure, is the $80 price tag for Mario Kart alone and the $70 price tag for Donkey Kong and other games that are coming out as well. I don't think the hype has died down for me. Like, obviously it's been hindered somewhat because there is a lot of like just negative feelings and thoughts around it right now. But I, like, during that Nintendo Direct that happened, the Switch 2 Direct, there was a joy in me that I have not felt since I opened up the GameCube on Christmas morning. Like, there's something inherently like nostalgic about this whole thing that's happening, because I've been around for a lot of console launches at this point, but a lot of them haven't been like, oh, I got to get that right away. Like the PS5, I waited like a year to get that. The PS4, it was like a few months to get that. The Xbox, I definitely did not get that day one, right? But now it's like there's something unlocked inside me while watching that Direct, and I was like, oh, this feels like the GameCube on Christmas morning, the N64 on Christmas morning that I used, that childhood feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, I'm so giddy, And
Yeah,
I when Donkey Kong was revealed, I mean, I was literally tearing up because Donkey Kong has been a part of my childhood and life throughout my entire life, and it's just like a series that does not get enough love. Like, the last Donkey Kong game was on the Wii U, the official last Donkey Kong game. Like, yes, we got Tropical Freeze remaster or whatever it is, and Donkey Kong HD, but the last official game from the Donkey Kong series, all the way back on the Wii U, which is crazy.
I wish I could have seen and heard your reaction. I know you recorded like that 3-second clip on Discord, but I wish I could have just seen the whole thing.
If I remember, I'll put it in here. But my phone like blocked out half of my screaming. So
Yeah, it was so loud that half of us blocked.
But what do you think, Alice? Is your hype dampered by the pricing of everything?
Just a tiny bit. I am still gonna be there day one, and yeah, like I'm one of those fans where like the price doesn't really bother me that much. Like I'm just planning on putting it on a credit card anyways and just paying it over time. But I imagined the prices are going to be just a little bit higher, just not as high as 80, which is crazy, but it's whatever. Hopefully, it's not going to be that many games, just like a few here and there. But I mean, people need to realize that the industry has changed over the last couple of years since the pandemic. So many studios shut down. Like things are changing. Things are going to need to increase for the gaming industry to continue being viable.
Mm-hmm.
These games, the industry as we know it is changing. We're like in a new world right now, and it's gonna continue to change and settle into something. I don't know what, but it is gonna continuously change into a new norm, whenever that may be.
Yeah, it's scary to think about. Seems like physical games are kind of going away at this point. And we'll see. We'll see. Let's talk about some of the accessories for the Switch. We've obviously already talked about the camera a little bit, but let's go over some of the accessories and pricing of everything. So a single Joy-Con is going to be $45 to $50, and a pair of Joy-Cons is going to be about $85. The Pro Controller we already talked about.
$79.99.
$79.99? That's not what I'm seeing.
That's what I see here. I'm in the Nintendo Life article.
Well, this is great. This is great British pound.
Never mind.
So
Never mind.
You got to do the conversion.
No, it is dollar. That's sorry, but that's Switch controller. The Joy-Con is $89.99. Yeah, sorry.
I don't know why I have.
Don't mind me.
I have the Great British Bound version of this, so I got to do some conversions in my head. We already talked about the Pro Controller. It's going to be about $80, which is not a bad price, I'm sure. The Joy-Con charging grip, they're going to sell that separately for about $35-ish.
35, yes. Which they didn't show it, did they? Oh, they did. Yes. Never mind.
Yeah, it's on like the accessories listing site. Switch 2 camera, that we already talked about that. It's going to be about $40.
$50.
$50?
$50.
Okay, a bit more. Maybe you should start doing this because I don't have the right prices here. Joy-Con wheel, take it away, Callus.
Joy-Con wheel. Actually, I'm not seeing that anywhere. The thing I have pulled up.
All right, that's going to be about $25 from my estimation on this website. Joy-Con.
Oh, okay. I see it now. $20. Buy this article that I have right now. It's all over the strap. Okay, Joy-Con strap. It's $12.99.
All right. And the Switch 2 carrying case and screen protector.
Switch case and screen protector, $34.99.
That's not too bad. I mean, those prices are pretty good in general.
There's also an all-in-one carrying case for $79. What does this include? I'm not sure what it is. I don't see a picture for this.
I'm wondering if it includes a screen protector, carrying case, maybe just more space for the stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, space for various cables up to 6 game cards. Yeah, just the Switch 2 dock.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different accessories coming out day one, including the Piranha Plant camera, if you want to check that out. And then the last thing to talk about is the box design, which when they showed off the box.
Oh, sorry. Real quick, also, there's micro SD cards Express, which are going to go for $45 for 128 gigabytes, $60 for 256, or 1 terabyte for 200. That's from third parties.
Woo! $200. Terabyte is a lot of space, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the box design. I think that the box originally was looking a bit weird because that red banner at the top is a lot of negative space. I will say when you actually see the boxes in this photo that is on X that I might put up over here if I remember, essentially the box art is wrapped around now instead of it being how the Switch cases, they have the red border on the side, the red spine. It looks like they're going to be wrapping the artwork around the case, and this could be a Japanese thing because this is the Japanese version of it, or it could be a thing that they're going to do with all the games around the world.
Well,
But
the case itself is going to be red instead of like the clear white, right?
yes, so the case itself is red, but the spine for the case looks like the art is wrapping around the side. Also, that red banner at the top, pretty goofy. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of like just nothing there. I feel like they should have just spelled out Nintendo Switch 2 on there with the little icon, but whatever.
You know what that reminds me of, which I don't know why they're doing this now. Like the Mariners patch, the Switch 2 patch on the Mariners, it's just like this huge thing that just says Switch 2. It's just very weird.
Yeah, I think it looks better than what I expected, but it's still kind of goofy. Still kind of goofy there. But I do like the idea of the box art wrapping around the case. I like that idea. So we'll see if that sticks for the U.S. and European version, but it is definitely in the Japanese version of these cases. So, and yeah, the Switch cartridges are red. I think we already mentioned that to fit the theming.
Yeah,
I was kind of expecting black to be the main color, but then I realized like Nintendo's not going to do like they made the console black. That's just a sleek look, but the branding is definitely going to be a bright color. All their consoles have been pretty bright, minus the Nintendo 64. So it makes sense for this to be like the cases to be a color, like the branding all to be colorful. But that does beg the question though, like are people going to be confused when they go they go to their local shop and they're like, well, I can buy the Switch 2. Like, let's say it's like a grandma or something. They go to a store and they're like, my son wants a Switch 2. And they notice the price difference between the original Switch and the Switch 2. And she goes, oh, Switch. Just buy a Switch. There could be a little bit of, something there. And then also with the Switch 2 boxes being kind of similar to the Switch 1 boxes in at least form factor.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, they're similar.
That could also be a thing where the old grandma goes to the store and her grandson has a Switch 1 and she buys a Switch 2 game for it, and it might not work. Now, there is reason to believe, since they are the same shape and you seemingly can put a Switch 2 cartridge into a Switch 1, and there are games that are available on both, it's viable that possibly you could play like Metroid Prime 4, put the Switch 2 version into the Switch 1, and it will just be the Switch 1 version. But I don't think that's going to be how it works. I think you're going to put the Switch 2 cartridge into the Switch 1, and it's going to say error, not compatible cartridge, or whatever. So there you go.
Yeah, I know they say it's the same size, but I wonder if there's going to be I don't know, some sort of like rail or something that's going to prevent it from sliding to the Switch 1.
Yeah, I mean
I'm not sure.
The picture that they showed didn't look any different. Just it was red.
They show what it looks like in the back.
They did not actually. I don't think they did. Just the front. So yeah, maybe there'll be like a little notch or something that will catch on something. Hard to say. As of right now,
like you said, it's just going to show like an error.
Yeah,
message.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like they're going to cut back on production costs by keeping it the same, the same dimensions and stuff like that. They're just going to upgrade the internal components. But
I haven't thought about that, but yeah, that would make sense.
Well, Callus, I think we did it. 2 hours later, I think we did it.
Do we need to talk much about like the TreeHouse?
Well, I
guess we kind of did mention, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of sprinkled it in there. I figured that it would be better to talk about the TreeHouse stuff when we were talking about each game, which is kind of what I did. But the TreeHouse stuff did show off a lot more stuff, like Mario Kart World. They showed off like the knockout mode. They showed off a lot of the like some tracks and stuff like that. There's a bunch of different characters they showed off. Like there's the coin pouch enemy from Mario 64 as a character. Like who would have expected that? Yeah. And then they were also showing like, it seems like they brought back like every single item from Mario Kart Pass as well. Like you got the Mega Mushroom in there, you got the Boomerang, you have just all this cool stuff in there. So it looks like they went all out for it. Even bringing the feather back, which is like Mario Kart Super Circuit days. You know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you want to watch those, they're pretty quick, like gameplay wise. You just kind of gotta remember, like, it's the people who have been playing these games. They're trained with these games, and they are doing specific things. So, like, while I was watching the Donkey Kong one, I was like, "There's a chest right there. Collect that chest right now." But he didn't. He moved on because he knew he had a script to follow. He had a place he had to go to. So just keep that in mind when you're watching the TreeHouse stuff. These people, they're paid to know the ins and outs of the game. They're told what to talk about and what to make sure gets shown on the stream, and then they also are told like what not to show on the stream. Like, these are things that we need to keep secret, or we're going to reveal later. So just keep that in mind, I guess.
Nintendo's so funny.
And there was also Breath of the Wild gameplay showed off too. Some new 4K resolution Tears of the Kingdom stuff shown off. Which
both, I
might
believe.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did show both. Yeah.
You might be interested in that. But the main thing, though, for me was that Metroid Prime gameplay. I think that was the most impressive out of all of them. Even though it was fun to see the wheelchair game, and they even showed off the fucking Welcome to the Switch 2 game. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like the main thing that I wanted to watch was the Metroid Prime gameplay, because that and the Donkey Kong gameplay, of course. But that looked like, I think even though Donkey Kong looks great, Metroid Prime 4 graphically just looks like what you expect from like a AAA game.
I mean, Retro Studios, they I don't know what kind of magic they're working with over there, but yeah, back in the day, the GameCube game just looked incredible for the time.
So,
and yeah, you can expect they are gonna do the same kind of magic again.
And they did. We can already see it. But yeah, that's the TreeHouse stuff. I think they're still doing some, maybe today. I'm not sure. We're recording this on Saturday, just for context.
No, I think it's over.
You think it's over? Okay, so it's probably over. So, but yeah, like you said, we got another direct coming on the 17th for Mario Kart World, and then we'll probably get some more bits and bobs as the Switch 2 gets closer to launch. And I will, of course, update you all on that stuff as it comes out. We'll see what else happens.
Do you think that team has been also working on a Mario game at the same time? Because it's been a while since we got a 3D Mario game.
Callus is hungry. He's hungry for Mario. Well,
I guess they did also work on Bowser's Furies, so there's that.
Yeah, it's just,
that's not a big game, though.
No, that wasn't a big game at all. But it was a perfectly sized game, in my opinion. I mean, they might be. I feel like Donkey Kong Bananza probably took all their manpower, because that's like
it looks like it.
That's huge. Like, yeah, but we'll see. I mean, like I said, maybe next year will be the year of Mario, and we'll get the new Mario 3D platformer. Because I feel like they're not going to launch two big 3D platformers in the same year for the Switch.
Yeah, I don't think so. Definitely not. But they do need something, Mario, because I mean
Mario Kart.
Yeah, but come on, Nintendo, like they love their Mario stuff. They release like 2 different related Mario things every year, even if it's like a sports game or whatever else.
Yeah, maybe there will be a sports game coming out later. Who knows?
Or, you know what? New prediction. I'm going to call it right now. A remake of Mario 64.
Oh, okay. Mario 64 DS possibly remake of that, like full-on console edition?
Yes, like completely remade with beautiful graphics.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm predicting. I'm going to stick with it. Mario Baseball will be a sports game coming out later this year. They'll announce it closer to the release of the Switch.
Really, you think they're going to start off with baseball?
Well, baseball's pretty big in Japan, and there hasn't been a baseball game since Mario Sluggers on the GameCube. So I feel like we're kind of primed and ready for that. So. And they've done every other sport except for football, like NFL football. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, Callus. Well, it's been great having you. We're wrapping up here. We're done here.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This was a big endeavor. I was nervous because it's just so much information. I'm sure we forgot something along the way, and let us know in the comments below if we forgot something. But yeah, I think we're done here. I think we can wrap this up.
All right, wrap it up, B.
Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening to this episode of Fair 64. If you want to check it out on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts, it's on all those locations in video form. If you want to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, or leave a rating on Spotify, or give it a like on YouTube, I would appreciate that. It does help the channel grow. If you want to check out Callus, he streams sometimes on twitch.tv/justcallus, or you can check out his
Tuesday nights.
Tuesday nights, 8:30 sharp. Also, if you want to check out his VODs channel, he's been uploading a lot of past VODs because of Twitch's change in policy. So his Just Callus VODs channel is available to watch past streams.
Thank you for that.
If you want to check out my stuff, it's all at Yemmy the Ferret, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, etc. I also have a VODs channel as well, which I am up to date with at this point, which is it was a big endeavor, much like your backlog, but yours was obviously longer than mine, but it was still a big endeavor. Yeah, because you had like 3 years built up of VODs, and I only had like a year's worth, so
oh yeah,
I got through a bit faster. But that's all available. I do stream on Twitch as well, Yemmy the Ferret, and it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Right now we're playing Death Stranding and the first Berserker Kazan, which I'll probably talk about more next week, because this week was dedicated to, oops, all Nintendo Switch 2 news. So, yeah. Other than that, I know you're probably waiting for a what's that song? I don't think we should do one for this episode. I'm just gonna be clear and cut. Right. We're not gonna do one for this episode, but next week we'll do another one. We'll get back onto it. Okay. All right. Anyway.
All right.
I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with
Callus, Callus.
And this has been another episode of Ferret 64. Appreciate y'all for watching. So long.
Bye. Love you.
The Ferret 64 podcast is owned and edited by Yemmy the Ferret. Small sound clips used throughout the podcast were made by Yemmy the Ferret. The song in the intro and outro is Nightshade by Adhesive Wombat. The Ferret 64 logo was made by Player2P2. News sources include PushSquare.com, NintendoLife.com, and PureXbox.com. All opinions, video game related, are my own. Thank you for listening.